welcome. I am Christine Dávila. I'm a TV exec, producer, and film programmer, and I'm so happy to host this half hour with conversation with a filmmaker who I greatly admire and have followed since early days. In 2022, she won many of Mexico's highest film prizes with a film called For Northern Skies Over Empty Space. But today we're here to talk about her most recent film, A Million Miles Away, which is a movie that she directed and co-wrote, and it's based on a true and very inspiring story. Bienvenida, Alejandra Márquez Abella.
Hola, thank you for having me.
Amiga, for folks who have not seen the film, tell us the short overview of what your film is about.
A Million Miles Away is Jose Hernandez's story. Jose was a migrant farm worker who became an astronaut and went to space.
Yes. And, there's a line in the movie, and it's also in the trailer that we're going to cue up that I really love, that resonates so much, which is tenacity is a superpower. And one of the things I love about the experience of watching this film is that you put us right there with Jose, going through the extraordinary effort year after year, application after application to accomplish this radical dream of becoming an astronaut. I mean, you could feel the weight, and everything's so hard earned, which, makes for an emotional climax. There were so many times I felt this overwhelming surge of emotion, and it's heartwarming and it's heart pounding. I laughed out loud also several times. So, tell us about the narrative spine as you adapted this true story. I know Jose wrote a book about it. How much did you take from it? For example, where did these sort of 5 ingredients come from, which is a great chapter design of the film?
Well, I have to start saying that for me, Jose didn't get to become an astronaut in spite of being a migrant farm worker, but because of it. And that was like the first thing that I wanted to say with the whole thing, to tell a story about identity and how whatever you want to become is held in your origin and in who you are, and you don't have to become anyone else to do so. And that to me was the core of everything. So it was easy to come up with every emotional and comedic point in the film pursuing exactly that, no? Identity and the pride and the honor behind it.
Should we watch the trailer?
So, what's your big goal, dream?
I want to be an astronaut.
Oh my God, you're serious? Okay.
I wanted this for almost 30 years.
Ma, ¿para qué sirven las estrellas?
Every decision I've made with the space program in mind.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Jose Hernandez, sir. I'm an engineer.
You're the new guy, right? That 3rd floor men's room needs toilet paper.
Going to space, it's a stupid dream. Last 10 candidates were chosen from 12,962 applicants. It's never gonna happen.
Those people who got into the program, what do they have that you don't?
They have skills that I don't have. It's taken them years to get where they are, but there's no guarantee. I know this is hard on everybody. My body hurts, I can't sleep. I know I can make this work. Over the last 10 years, I've applied to the space program 12 times, and I've been on the verge of giving up after each and every rejection. But you know what, sir? Here I am. So you could turn me down again, but rest assured, I'll be standing here again in a year.
We grew up watching our people make sacrifices. It's on us now.
Tenacity is a superpower.
This may not be your future, but it will always be your past.
Who better to leave this planet and dive into the unknown than a migrant farm worker?
5, 4, 3, 2.
There it is. So I want to ask you, because I definitely did not know, and I don't think a lot of people know what it actually takes to be part of the space program. And I love how much attention and how much behind the scenes you kind of take us through that. So people are going to get a real kick out of that. All it takes to prepare and qualify. And then once you're in the training center, did you have folks at NASA or other scientists, or obviously you had Jose, but like, how did you create this world and be accurate, within the greater NASA space program?
I definitely had Jose. We became friends pretty soon. I called him my astronaut uncle because it felt so familiar to be around him, and he was there for every question I had. But I got to go to NASA twice. I went to Johnson Space Center the first time only, to do some research and to see how things worked. And then I went with Michael before we shot the film to get what they call the artist trainment. So it was fun. It was fun being at NASA and learning about how everything happens and how hard it is physically, mentally, emotionally to become an astronaut. It was weird how normal people are over there. It's just like being in a big office. So that was interesting. I went to Kennedy Space Center as well, which is where every rocket launches. So that was a different experience, but it was interesting, fun.
Awesome. I also really like how dynamic the film is, the camera work. But why don't you talk to us about, your intuition behind that and working with, your camera department, your DP.
This is a story that happens in 50 years. So it's a lot of time that you have to put inside a 2-hour film. So I wanted the audience to get the sense of how quick life happens and how quick things happened for Jose. There's like montage sequences that we get to see in, I don't know, like 10 years happen in 1 minute or so. And that's, how fast things happen and how slow some other things happen as well. No, Adela and Jose's love scenes are ridiculously slow. The time kind of stops when they're together. So that was a very. I think that we wanted to provoke something in the audience. A sense of time, a relationship with time, and I have the great honor to have Dariela Ludlow as a DP in many of my projects, and this was, she's such a profound and an intellectual kind of DP, and we had a lot of conversations about how to portray something so intangible as a dream and the pursuit of it through time.
Yeah, the period setting is incredible. Yeah, I think it's like 69, 85, 99, 2008. And it's so seamless. And it has a lot to do with, the way you're sliding in and out of these eras. And I'm curious if, like, in the script, if you knew where you were going to do these transitions, in the script, or did you have any discovery or evolution once you were shooting it, the particular scenes where you're transitioning in and out of, because there's some really cool ones.
We wanted to make it feel like it was flowing, it didn't stop. We have like these invisible cuts all over the place, and it seems that it's just something that's flowing and happening, one thing after the other and not stopping. And that was what we wanted to create with the camera and the way we shot and cut our shots.
And how fun was it to play with all these, period and, with the production design and the costume design? I mean, it's really epic. I mean, you get very, I love how smart it is because, nothing feels overdone. Everything feels very natural, very authentic, but I'm sure that that came with a lot of work and just working with the right costume design, production designer. I mean, you've done period before, right? Niñas Bien was,
Las
yes.
Niñas Bien was 80s, and we actually had Anaí Ramos, who is the same costume designer from Las Niñas Bien. And I mean, she's an amazing researcher, but also we wanted to portray the different generations of, Chicano culture. We wanted to go deep into the Cholo style because we love the idea of having a Cholo scientist. This sort of impossible characters that is it takes a lot of effort to imagine, but once you see them in the screen, it just makes sense. And that, I think, happened with Anaí and with even Michael and Rosa, in the way we created their characters together. They were very much involved. I think Michael received this as an opportunity to make an homage of his own, life. He's raising, and he grew up in Chicago, but he had a father who worked in the fields, so he was very much related to what was happening in the creating of Jose.
Yes, there's this one, for people who haven't seen it, we see Michael as Jose pulling up to the when he was working at the Livermore Center. We see him pull up twice, the first time with is it Los Tigres del Norte playing? And then the second time with Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. And that is like my culture. That is like the bicultural, experience, without a doubt. I love that like I felt so seen, which might be a good segue of like, this is a banger of a soundtrack. Oh my gosh. Because again, yes, you have Los Tigres del Norte, you have Juan Gabriel, you have Jose Alfredo Jimenez, you also have Devo, like I said, some other one-hit wonders, a beautiful cover of California Dreamin' by Calexico. I mean, tell me everything about, the music was there music? At what point do you think of songs in your script and in prep, and then those particular needle drops as well?
There's two sides of the way that I work with music. I like the original music, which was done by Camilo Lara, who is a part of the Mexican Institute of Sound that you may know. He's an amazing DJ as well, and an amazing musician. I love to create original music as another cinematic instrument. I think music should, make you focus or unfocus or understand, and it should tell you the story as well. The music that we selected with our music supervisors, I mean, to me, the most important thing was to bring honor to the Mexican American culture, and that's what you're saying is like the best thing to hear for me, because it's exactly that we wanted to achieve. We wanted to bring these epic national anthems for Mexico, which are Querida, Juan Gabriel, and I love how people resonate with those songs, even people who don't know those songs. It's such good pieces of music that you just have to react, but it's a very meaningful piece of identity for many. So that was like the most important thing. I also wanted to tell the story of how Jose renegades or, denies his Mexican identity at some point, because we think as minorities that we have to become others in order to, be able to receive whatever good stuff life has to offer. And that was an important thing of, the imposter syndrome that he had, or that I imagined he had, and the demons that he had to battle against to get to, to achieve his dream. So music is telling that story as well. And again, Camilo's original score to me just is like a syncretic, yeah, he brings a collision of both worlds into sounds and beats, and that's just unseen. You know, to me, that was such an amazing thing to have Camilo's mind and sense.
Definitely. I love that it never it never felt heavy-handed. It was actually very elegant and very subtle, just by way of, you know, again, going back to that scene that I love, that one time he's in with his Impala, he's coming in with his Impala, Tigres del Norte, the next he's coming in with, I actually had to take a picture of it and send it to my dad. He's a big car fan, and I was like, what kind of car is this? I think he said it was like a Mazda 300, like he had this year, I think he said like 70 something. I love him so much. He knows so much about cars. I'm like, what car is this? It's cool. But anyway, that's like the more like the American, you know, sort of like version, right? And how like he's not as like his head's not as nodding as much.
And I have to say that Los Tigres del Norte song, which is Contrabando y Traición, or Camelia la Tejana, that was Michael Peña's father's favorite song, and he brought it in. We had another one, and he said like, no, I would like to sing my father's favorite song, please. And I was like, of course.
Oh, I
And
love
we decided
that.
to make that, you know, a recurrent gag that, yeah, whenever he was driving over to work, he would sing that song or put that song in the radio.
And at the end, there's also a note, I think it played a real role, a really meaningful role, a separate song, but similar, sort of very meaningful to Jose Hernandez, right? I don't think this is giving away much. It's just, you know, what he did when he, you know, was in the space station was eat tacos and listen to, what is it, Hijo del Pueblo?
Hijo del Pueblo, yeah.
If I get this wrong, I should have my Latina card denied. Vicente Hernandez, correct?
It's Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
You should have your Latina card. It's Jose Alfredo's, but it's, you know, it's a song that speaks about how you have to remain humble and, you know, look back to your hometown and just say hi and be humble. And I think Jose, it's you know, he represents that exactly. I love when I first met Jose, and this is something that happened with Michael as well. I was in awe because he has a ranchero accent in Spanish. And, you know, it's super weird to meet a very famous engineer who has been to the space station and a movie star who speak Spanish with a ranchero accent, you know, because they learned Spanish from people who work the field. So they have that accent. And that's something that to me was super emotional. And I wanted to have that,
To honor that.
as a feeling in the film.
Yes. Well, I think now's a good time to cue up the next clip.
What do they have that you don't?
I mean, they're mostly Caucasian. They have skills that I don't have. But training for their skills, I mean, it takes money.
Forget about that. We have savings. What do they have that you don't have?
Well, the last batch of candidates were chosen from 12,962 applicants. You know, some are from the military, some hold PhDs, there's scientists, engineers. I mean, there's some teachers. Oh, and there's you know, pilots, lots and lots of pilots. Really good ones too.
Yeah. All right, man. Do this. This is up. This is down.
And, you know, they have success in high-performance hobbies like running, swimming, triathlon, tennis, weightlifting. Some of them are just like outright athletes. One of the guys is a deep-sea diver who's logged more than 700 dives. So diving is key, you know?
Let's continue talking about your incredible cast. You know, Michael Pena, who has, I think, something over 90 film and TV credits. I mean, he's been in everything from like big Marvel movies to, just really meaningful to the community films. I think of End of Watch. I mean, and then Rosa Salazar, who is also made a huge movie with Robert Rodriguez. Alita has done TV. How early in the process did you land on these two? And what was it like getting them on board and in general collaborating with them on this?
Michael was on from the beginning. I mean, there was no question. He's like the biggest, he's the best, he's, you know, he was the, no, I don't think anybody thought of anyone else. It was he was him, he was Jose right from the start. And Rosa, we came to Rosa because I thought that Adela should have a sense of humor. And I think Rosa Salazar is, you know, a natural born comedian. She's gonna be, I mean, she should do more comedy because she's just amazing. But I didn't want to have like the regular astronaut wife who is just sitting and waiting for the guy to come back and doesn't have anything to say, or, you know, like she should be a team player. And I think humor can be a way into the portrayal of that. So I think that was how things happened.
Yeah, I mean, they have chemistry. She is so charming. I honestly, I love rom-coms. Like there's like the meet cute in this movie, and the courtship is just so unbelievably awkward and funny and cute. And now hearing you say about, you know, how you were choosing how to compact 50 years of a life and how you slowed down for these scenes, it makes all the world a difference, because I feel like, you know, that is such a pivotal, impactful, critical moment in both of their lives when they find each other that way. I love it so much. So I mean, I'm sure it was, but tell us more about, you know, how much you wanted to dedicate to that love story, because I think it was something that I wasn't prepared to see.
Well, I have to start saying that I'm a feminist, so that was gonna happen either way. I just had to find the way to do it. Then I met Adela, the real Adela, and she was so powerful, and so it was like a very strong presence. I could see that, no, a very important presence for Jose. So I pictured her as being the rockets and him being the shuttle, but you know, he couldn't have gotten so far without her energy and her disposition. So yeah, I thought that we had to bring that idea of community, which maybe in this case starts with a couple, and then the family, and then the friends, and then the, you know, the rest of the gang. But it's always a village. No, it takes a village to be successful. It's not just that you're bright or that you're unique. You have a lot of, as we say in the film, we make this metaphor with the monarch butterflies, which weigh 1 gram and travel thousands and thousands of miles, and they can do so because they fly together. So, you know, that was the idea behind the couple and the family and everything, which I think is very representative of the Latino community as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that you were able to really show the nuance of a woman who is married and, you know, has kids and also has her own dreams, but challenges, you know, her husband in a way. And it's just as we see in the trailer where, you know, initially she laughs, but it's not out of any, you know, malicious, you know, intent. She then understands, you know, the ambition. And I think that's what, you know, continues to illuminate their own, you know, self-actualization. You mentioned the monarch butterfly, which is, you know, one of a few elements that I love that you put in there that, you know, have a lot of symbolism and, you know, metaphorically, because as you mentioned, the butterfly, there's that corn, you know, the corn on the cob that mirrors the space rocket. Whether it's things like that or things that you kind of repeat, practical things, like the group hugs. I love the group hugs so much. I'm curious, again, when do those appear to you in the sort of adaptation phase? I mean, is it, you know, again, I'm always curious, like, how much are you discovering on set and how much, you know, you knew from the very beginning when it comes to those things? Obviously, the butterfly was something that you had to, you know, think about way in advance, but other details like the symbolism and the metaphor and how often you use the symbolism in your film. I love it so much. I wonder what your general way of approaching that is.
I had a marvelous teacher in school who told us that you should have an image that was emotional and that was representative of the film that you were gonna make, so that whenever you were in distress or, you know, wanting to quit or just lost, you should be able to come back to that image and feel it and then reconnect with whatever you were doing. And I think that the corn cob, you know, being a rocket and an element of the fields, had that power, had that emotional power, narrative power for me. So that was, of course, the monarch butterflies were in the script, but some other stuff like the song, like Los Tigres del Norte song, was something that we came up on set. No, what if you just sang that song again, and then we can say that. And Michael, I think Michael loved to find those, you know, precious stones here and there.
Mhm.
Working with those, because it's a matter of, you know, you just make a take, and if it doesn't work, it's fine. You just don't use it. But it did, and it was, I think it was a cool improvisation that we did in collaboration. And I loved working with him because of that. He was so open to these kind of things.
Are there other moments like that? Because I love hearing those things, those kind of improvisation, whether it was with, you know, the script or, you know, working with Michael or with Rosa and things that, you know, just made what you had even better, like just truly elevated it.
They both are actors who love to work in advance. So we would talk a lot, like 2 weeks before shooting a scene or something, and we would come up with stuff, you know, so it wasn't improvisation in that exact moment, but it wasn't on the script, and we had time to think about new things. I can't say which ones exactly, but I can say that both of them and the rest of the gang are so imaginative and so intelligent and, you know, open to these things. It was a very nice adventure. I have to say, we shot the film in Mexico entirely. I wanted to have a sort of reverse migration process to you know, circle the poetry. And yeah, and it was, I think that was a very nice experience. Imagine having Michael Pena on set every day. He's just a stand-up comedian waiting to happen. So that was, he used to, you know, yeah, bring us some surprise every Friday. So the crew loved him. We always had something different, so it was fun. It was crazy. It was a lot of work in many in 9 weeks. We did everything. We had to recreate NASA in Querétaro and San Luis Potosí. So that was hard. We had to go to the fields. We had to, you know, to build sets and be all over. So it was a stressful time, but I think that the good humor and the music and everyone's, I think Mexico is a great place to shoot. I think, you know, crews here are so amazing, so talented, and so, I don't know, it's another kind of vibe.
Well, it's all worth it because it's an epic movie for sure. And if we haven't given the people out there enough reasons to watch this, tell the folks at home one last thing about what you think they'll enjoy the most out of seeing this.
I think this is an emotional journey above all things. I think that's something that we are lacking a lot in these times, you know, just to watch a film that is heartwarming and that is emotional, but it's triumphant at the same time, and that talks about the life of a human superhero. You know, as you said at the beginning, his superpower was tenacity, but that's something amazing to see. We try to search for these amazing qualities in other worldly creatures, and we have these amazing characters as Jose, as you know, Michael, yourself, a lot of people making a lot of good things in the States, and that's something that's very specific and at the same time very universal, I would say.
That's right. Well, I hope everyone gets a chance to see this or rewatch this the way that I am. It's on Prime. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you about your movie.
Thank you. Gracias.